So I did a poll and majority of you picked this video. Can Subaru from ReZero survive in the Dragon Ball universe, in the Dragon Ball world? And let me say this before anything. This is not just Subaru versus either Dragon Ball Z characters at all. This ain't just about fighting. Can he survive the whole thing with new villains? Can he train with them? We're taking that all in account. So I don't want to hear nobody saying, well, Goku will win this. Goku will always beat somebody. It's always the Dragon Ball people. They'll always pick Goku than any other anime character to beat them. That's not how it's going to go down. And the reason I did this video, not only because of the poll, but if you was around the early days of this channel, I first started out with Samurai Jack when season 5 came out, and also when Dragon Ball Super was coming out with new episodes and the Tournament of Power. That's how far back it was before I did a ReZero video. So can Subaru survive in the Dragon Ball world, Dragon Ball universe? First, you gotta look at Subaru. I mean, he's pretty good at adapting to changes after the return of death, and he figures stuff out and make a plan on the fly. That's what he does great. He compromises and figures something out when something happens, especially multiple times, coming up with different point of views and different scenarios of what's going on. And also in ReZero, is a lot of horror, but Dragon Ball is no walk in the park either. But also Dragon Ball has some off period time, like not a lot of bad things going on. Like, yeah, we got Curlin over there being a policeman and capturing thieves. But once in a while, we got all these different races like Frieza, then you have Cell coming out and Kid Buu, and now you have different people from different universes and God of Destruction. That will bring a different kind of horror, because you're not talking about just the witch cult trying to kill people like Ram. You have universes on the line. And you got multiple universes. You have Frieza destroying a whole Saiyan race and when Vegeta and Goku were kids, and he did it without even thinking. And that was just like the Saint Archbishops, but they are doing it to the whole universe, and like without even the blink of an eye, not even toying with them. Frieza just like snapping the finger and just woof, there you go. But during these big fights, there also a big break in between villains and arcs, and there are some downtime in Dragon Ball. All right. Do you think that Super can survive that during peacetime? And will he train? Can he keep up with the training of Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta, and going to Beerus and all that? That is a lot of training. He will gain a lot of experience with that, and that can help him as a better fighter. But he don't have that abilities like different races do. It's like Curlin and Tien. They have that certain limit compared to the Saiyans, because they're all godlike tiers, and like they have special abilities in a human form. And Subaru is a human, but also he has his abilities. So at some point he can, at a limit, can gain some more strength and more abilities than an average Curlin and Yamcha and Master Roshi. Now there have been some times you could not prepare of what's going on, just like Android 17 and 18 showed up, and when they're only expecting Android 19 and Jiro, all of a sudden you got two more androids and they're stronger than the other ones, and they gave the Z fighters a really hard time. How will Super react when a Frieza like villain from a different planet, like Granola, Jiren, the God of Destruction, Beerus? What happens if those guys come out all of a sudden unexpectedly? How would he handle that? Because he has a hard time handling those kind of situations on the fly before anything happens. Just like the Ram situation on season 1 of ReZero, that he went insane. It mentally broke him, and still does to this day at some point. Now, when he was facing that, when he gets killed, but let me just say this first. Any power scaling of Dragon Ball will wipe out anybody of ReZero. I'm just saying that right now. How can you defeat a UI, Goku, or any other Dragon Ball character besides Goku. How can you either beat a special race like Jiren the Gray, a God Destruction Beerus? How can you beat those guys if you're Subaru and all you got is Return to Death? You're just gonna keep dying. Well, figuring out a way, and it will take you 100 more times than what has been happening in ReZero. It will take a long, long time. I mean, it will be hard to find a weakness since the power scale is way off in the favor of those special kind of races. But yes, it can beat Yamcha, Tien, he can beat Krillin, he can beat the average Z fighters, but beyond the races of like the Saiyans and the Friezas and Hit and Cooler, all them guys, he will get blasted. He will be blasted out into orbit. Because how can you beat those guys with just a return of death? And that don't mean anything. But the good thing is he could be friends with Goku and Vegeta, the Z Fighters. And he would basically sit there and chill. But if he got to do it by himself and Goku and Vegeta is not there and he's facing Frieza and watching all this horror, and let me say this, basically they are helpless in ReZero. I mean, there's a lot of deaths in ReZero, a lot of killing, and in Dragon Ball, yeah, there is killing, but at least somebody has enough power just to go head to head on people. You don't see much as dying or different turnouts going on. I mean, it's just one-on-one battle, and Goku and Vegeta finds a way and beat them without dying over and over and over again because they have that power. I mean, they can go head to head and be better. They can do really better. And plus, they got the Dragon Balls, and they look for another way. While Subaru, he gets mind broken because there's some horror in ReZero. So it's kind of a little bit better, but it can be also worse with just erasing the whole universe without blinking an eye. I mean, you think about that. So all in all, I mean, he could be just chilling in a way and also gaining some strength and some knowledge in his techniques of fighting than what he did versus Julius and got himself blasted by him. This can actually help him and gain some strength to get something out of it. But also, all these guys he'll be friends with, the Z Fighters, it'll be very easy going. But his gestures to women at times will not be very good. With Vegeta, Chi-Chi, and Bulma for sure. They're going to end up like another Oolong and Master Roshi with his head caved in. But in a point, can he handle universes getting destroyed and like some real like intense fighting going on with outer space kind of unnatural kind of abilities he might not ever seen before? I don't think his mind can handle it. But besides that, I think he can. So in a way, he can survive. In a way, he can survive.